So, there's all kinds of content out there in the world, and We Are Listening is constantly trying to figure out ways to bring content that we feel like
Our audience
that
would
our
like
au-
to hear.
exactly.
The
So,
supporters.
yes, and we decided to come up with a series of things that we feel like we should have learned in school. And it's amazing because as we were writing down the list, we were like, there's a whole bunch of stuff on that list. So we wanted to come to you guys. And since tax season is upon us, we figured, why not talk about taxes, but not in a boring way, in a kind of fun, lighthearted way, but also provide some information for you guys. So if this is your first time tuning in, my name is Antoinette. I'm co-founder and a director, mentor here. We Are Listening.
My name is Benet, founder and president of We Are Listening. Welcome.
Hello, hello. I am Cassandra. I am one of the directors and mentors for We Are Listening.
So like Antoinette said, we wanted to bring y'all some just everyday things like we wish we just would have known. Like we were like, dang, if I would have known that going in, I would have been prepared. So we just figured we're going to make this a fun series. This is not our first one. We're going to be doing a few of them. So stay tuned, keep watching. But today we're going to focus on financials, but we're going to make it fun.
I was going to say, and even if there's something that you want to tell us, like, oh, why don't y'all touch on that? Why don't y'all do this? Feel free. Let us know. Hey, I wish I had known that. Why don't you do a series on this? We want to hear from you.
Yes.
I remember.
Tell us about the taxes, Antoinette.
I remember the first time I had my first job. I was working at a little care center, watching the little kids. I was in for payday. I got my little checky check.
And it was little.
It was little. The key word is little.
Very little. Listen, I don't know my age, but I think I was making like $4.20 at the time. That's how little we talking.
Born.
You said what?
What year were you born?
72.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it had my name and had my social, it had my address, and it had FICA. Who? I'm like, who is FICA? FICA didn't work. Like, who is FICA? And FICA was getting paid, and Social Security was getting paid. And like, what is going on? No one ever really sat down and talked to me about the fact that when you're getting paid, whatever amount of money an hour, that the government gets its cut up top. Taxation without representation at its finest. And it got me to thinking like, wow, that's something they didn't teach us in school. And you guys, a lot of you guys in our audience will be in our audience. I said our audience, like it's a game show.
Welcome to our game.
Come on down.
Right.
Welcome to What I Wish I
Knew. Right. But it's just like, it's funny because one of the things, for example, when you go for your first job, you're going to be bombarded with all kinds of forms. You'll get like this W-4 form. And that's the form that basically is you telling your employer how much money to excuse for you with regards to taxes. And I'm not going to go into all the sordid details, but it makes a huge difference.
Know your W-4. Know what the W-4 numbers should be when you're filling those forms out. They're deductions. It's how many people you're claiming, exemptions you're claiming. So yourself may be one, and just pay attention to those numbers because that determines how much taxes are going to be taken out.
How much take home pay what you see in that check.
And then one thing that a lot of people don't know, because I didn't know this, you can start off with your W-4 at a certain number, and then you can be like, you know what? You can change that. You're not stuck with that for the whole year. So
right,
because it's new,
if you acquire another exemption or deduction, then you can go update it at any time.
Absolutely. One of the other things about taxes that a lot of people don't realize is
who is FICA?
Yeah,
Well, if
who's this
you
FICA that's taking your money?
we go into extreme details about FICA when we do our financial workshop that is ran no other than by me.
Ah,
Give you all the secrets. We just give you a little bit of tidbit.
A little heads up.
We're gonna
look,
spoon
a little
feed you a little bit.
little
And if you
breadcrumbs
want
for you.
more, then you have to come to one of our workshops. But yeah, taxes is a really interesting thing because there's no person alive that is working that for the most part gets to avoid it when you're going to the store. Oh, it's $10 for these jeans.
That's the only taxes that I knew. I didn't know about taxes being taken out
Right.
of my check when I get paid. I knew I had to pay a couple of dollars, when I went shopping. But
yeah,
that shock when you get your first check, you break your calculator out. You're like, wait, hold on. I was supposed to make this per hour. What happened?
Yeah. They're like, you're going to make $20 an hour. You're like, oh, I'm rich. But when you calculate how much taxes are taken out, you're like, I'm not really making $20 an hour.
Right.
Right.
And not only do you pay federal, but you also pay state. And I know if you live in New York, you pay city. If you live in the city, so the 5 boroughs, you pay city tax and state tax.
Yeah, it really just depends on where you live, but you're going to always have to pay the government and the state. And some states, especially metropolitan areas, tend to be a lot tricky. And so then after they take your taxes out every year, usually around April 15th, now you have to file your taxes. I'm sure you see the folks standing outside dancing, do your taxes here.
The sign spinners.
You have to pay someone to do your taxes if you have a really simple form.
Basic, yeah.
So many people don't realize that if you go to irs.gov, they offer a lot of free and helpful information on there. And one of the things about We Are Listening is that when you become one of our mentees, if this is something you need in-depth help with, we will walk you through the process, and anything that we are not expert at, we will definitely make sure to get you the resources towards that.
Speaking of free, this is a little sidebar, y'all, because we this is a topic that I think we're going to touch on another time, but it just popped in my head. You also can get a free credit report annually. Did y'all know that?
Yes.
I never knew that. I mean, I don't know how long it's been out there, a thing, but maybe the past 8 years.
About
I
10
think
years.
I've known about, that you can get a free credit report too. And it's dealing with financials because it's about your money. So just if you did not know that, you can get a free credit report. It's called freecreditreport.com. And you go on that site and you can get a free credit report annually. Just so you can check your credit, make sure there's nothing on there that's not supposed to be, make sure there's things on there that's supposed to be, and things like that. So that's a little sidebar.
Credit bureaus. That's all 3 credit bureaus that you
Experian, TransUnion,
and the other one.
Hold on.
Wait, Cass broke her phone out.
I'm gonna
Experian, TransUnion.
That is the world we live in today.
Equifax.
Yes.
I knew it was 2 E's. I was like, which one? Especially in the world we live in today with so much fraud going on. Oh my goodness. Keep a check on your credit report. Utilize any of your credit cards or your banks that's giving you free credit updates. Turn those on and keep a check of your credit and make sure, because they will notify you if anything pops up on your credit report. Credits open, inquiries, anything. They will let you know. It's a lot of fraud.
You can also lock your credit file.
I had to do that.
I have mine locked with Experian. So.
Yeah, I had to lock mine.
So I know we're saying a lot of names, Experian, the IRS.gov, but jot it down, watch this a couple times to get the information, because we didn't take it all in at one time when we were finally learning these things. And it's not something that comes natural to some people. So if you have to watch this a couple times, they said TransUnion and Experian, watch it, take note.
And what we'll do is we'll put it down in the notes. We'll put some of these links down in the notes on YouTube, and you can just click the link and it'll take you to each page. So we'll definitely do that. What about just like writing a check? Like I used to see my mom write a check and didn't realize it had to be written a certain way, which makes sense, right? But I didn't know that when I got my first checkbook. I was like, okay, pay to the order of, okay, that's simple. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, who I'm sending the money to.
Yeah,
That's who goes there.
Yeah, what's this
Yeah.
line underneath? I have to write. So I found out I had to write the words out. Then what about when you have to draw the line and put the cents over the 100? I had to learn. I had to learn.
Don't
So
forget
that's
that
Yes.
yes.
too, because later on you might forget. Did I write? And you're trying to go through your checkbook. Oh, here it goes. So that's a reminder for you as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what was that again?
The memo line.
Oh, the memo line. Yes.
The memo line.
Yes.
Yeah, writing.
Do they even still give you the book to keep track of your checks? I don't even think
I don't think so. I mean, I know for me, when I have to check my checking account, I just log into my app and I just look and see what's cleared.
But what if you wrote a check? You won't know.
When's the last time?
But see,
it's been a few years since I had to write a check. The only reason I have checks is when you start a job, and if you want to do direct deposit, you need a voided check.
Yeah, but if you're renting, a lot of times renters will use checks as well, because half the time rental companies, when they're taking credit cards, they charge you. And I'm someone that doesn't like to pay extra for anything.
Yeah.
So I don't want to pay extra for my credit card. So fortunately, I get free cashier's check. But if you're renting, you have to do a check as well. But when she said that about a check, you know what else I thought about?
What?
The fact that it will teach you how to sign. They don't teach you cursive anymore.
That's true.
You don't teach you cursive anymore. And so, like, I know my daughter, and if you're watching, I'm putting you on blast. I know that with my daughter, she had to sign her name on something. And she's like, I don't know. You know, she did it in print and tried to just connect the lines together. So she wrote a D and then a line and then an O and then a line. And that is not how you write. No. So even if you don't want to write in cursive, I'm so serious. True story. Even if you don't want to go through the whole process of writing in cursive, it is important that you learn how to do a signature.
At least on your name.
Required to have what is called a wet signature, which means can't be electronic. You actually have to sign it yourself.
Yes. I'm teaching my kids script.
I think they're one of those books still. They still sell the book, so it's easy to learn.
Yeah, and once you get it, like I watched KJ and Azara, once you kind of get the, like, don't pick your pen up, you know, till you get to the end, then you dotting and everything. Once you get the flow, you pretty much got it. It's just a matter of just going through it. But it's very important that you know how to sign your name.
Yeah, when you have to sign, if you use a check, you have to sign your check. If you are signing any paperwork for that first job that we talked about, you have to sign your name on your I-9 form, the W-4. If you're buying anything, you know, a car, you have to sign it.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I write a lot of checks because the kids are in school and everything needs checks. So I write checks, but I'm not a big fan of my checks being out there because all your information is on it and people can pay bills if they have your routing number and your account number.
I was about to ask you, what's the information that's at the bottom of the check?
That's it.
Your routing number and your account number.
That's what those two numbers are.
And the check number. Yeah. That gives people access to your account.
To your bank account.
Yeah. The routing number is specific to a bank. So for example, if you have Navy Federal, think of it like you have your own social security number. A routing number is kind of like a social security number for a banking institution. Mm-hmm. So you put that routing number in Google, it'll tell you exactly which bank. So someone that you didn't? Oh yeah. Yeah, like sometimes what's my routing number?
Something
I'll go to Google and I'll put Google, what is the routing number to Navy Federal? And it'll put it right on there. Oh. So if you have the routing number and then you get that account number, they easily have access to that. So it's still important to, you know, definitely keep that stuff confidential
and make sure if you do write a check, don't think you might not have to. So learn how to write a check. Because I know, you know, with the young folks, they probably figure, I'm not going to have to write a check. Yeah. Everything's debit.
I debit. I tap. I Apple Pay.
Right. But still learn how to write a check. You never know when you may need to write a check.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Okay, this is a little off topic, but not really. When you mentioned about the credit reports, um, not only should you check to make sure that the information on there is correct, like, you don't have anything that doesn't belong, you should also update your address on there, because sometimes there are inaccuracies that, let's say you have a common name, John Smith, and you lived at 123 Main Street, and another Robert Smith who has the same surname. If your address is still connected to that on the credit report, they can mistakenly put that on your own credit. So it's always accurate, to go back 10 years and anything prior to that, have them updated and say, hey, this is not my address anymore. So that doesn't need to. People don't realize that.
Well, thank you for that advice, because I don't do that either.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, neither. And it's interesting because
so many new things.
I was looking at my credit report one time and I was like, Brooklyn? I never lived in Brooklyn, but my last name is very common.
Yes.
And they had somebody, and I never even bothered to check, because what I do is I look to make sure there's no collections. There's no, open account. All the accounts on my credit report, I'm like, yes, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine. So that's what I look at. I didn't even bother really concerning myself with that. I was like, I don't live
the address.
Yeah, because you have to think about it. Someone on the other end of that computer who is looking, and they have seen the last name Jones, and let's say it's, I don't know, Jennifer Jones and Jenny Jones, and they really Jenny Jones, but instead they look like Jennifer. Something as simple as that.
Yes.
You could throw it off.
Cause a discrepancy. Yeah. Definitely.
Another thing with regards to taxes that you may not know, if you qualify for financial aid through the government, they go by your parents' taxes.
This is for school. This is for college.
For college, yeah, your guardian's taxes. So I used to work at a school at one point, and I remember when I was assisting students with their financial aid, even though they were over the age of 18 and some of them were on their own, they thought, okay, here goes my W-2s. But because they were under the age of 24, they were still considered dependents. And I would have to say, well, I still need your parents' information. And they didn't notice and they didn't understand. So that's something that if you're planning on going to college soon and you're thinking about maybe applying for financial aid, you want to look into whether or not you would be considered independent or dependent. Because if you are dependent, you will need one, if not both, of your parents' tax filings, depending on
your guardian,
or your guardian,
whoever is taking care.
Yeah. But that's just a little bit of information of things that we feel like
we wish we would have known.
That we would have known.
Like I say, hindsight is 20/20. If only we had known.
Yes,
it really is. But we go into so much more depth when we're doing our mentoring. If anything we said resonates with you, please feel free to reach out to us, and we would be more than happy to get you to set up with one of our mentors in the various topics that we mentor and that we have workshops for.
Yes. So stay tuned. This is just our first series. We're just giving you a little glimpse into some of the things that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about all different types of topics that we wish we would have known, or somebody would have told us, whether it was school, home, a friend, grandma, somebody.
Don't forget. Let us know what you want to hear.
Yes. We have some very
interesting that you want to think about.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we are listening with those topics.
Yes. So thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to definitely be taping a lot more. We have a lot of information to share as always. We are mentors here at We Are Listening. So please go on our website, sign up for some mentoring sessions. We enjoy the youth. We enjoy talking to you guys, guiding you, just being that listening ear, because we are listening. And we will be back on really soon, so stay tuned. Tell your friends about us. Tell them to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button below.
Yes.
And
tell your friends to tell my friends, and we could be friends.
Yes. We all can be friends. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. And
All
we'll
right.
see you soon. Follow us on
Thank you.
Instagram.
Take care, everybody.
Share and
everything.
follow.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.